We live in an age where marketing is so important because there's so much competition. We have to distinguish ourselves from others, and we have to help clients understand who we are, what we bring to the table, how we can help them, and how our experience and our capabilities and our perspective stacks up relative to others. It's a tremendous competition out there. Which means that personal branding is very important. So if you haven't already, you're probably thinking about your bio. This is an age of selfies and YouTube videos and LinkedIn profiles and Instagram profiles and so much there. Now, the other thing is, of course, this is an era of great hyperbole. Everyone is amazing. Everyone is a mogul. Everyone is award-winning. So it's important to be able to help others understand what's real about you. What have you really done? What are your real capabilities? And how do you stack up relative to others in the marketplace? At all levels of experience, there's value you can bring. But it's worth understanding how to position yourself, what it means, and how others might see you relative to the words that you choose and the experience that you have and what you put forth in this world of great competition. I look at the bio as being an important aspect of marketing yourself. And I think there are 3 levels of bios that I see out there. And over the years, I have revised my bio maybe hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times, as I've had so many experience. I've been at this for decades. So what was important to me 5 years in is different than 10 years in, is different than 15, 20, and 25, over 30 years at this point, over 35 years at this point. So what I say about myself and what I've done and what value I bring is very different than someone might who's at it for, say, 10 years. But there are 3 levels. And those 3 levels, the first level I would say is, I'm qualified. I'm qualified. So what does that mean? Well, I went to this school. I'm certified in this way. I've had this level of experience. I've done this for 5 years. I've done this for 7 years. I've done this for 10 years. I've written a book about it. I've written a book about my story. And so the base level is I'm qualified, and here's why I'm qualified. So you'll see in a lot of bios, people will talk about their education. They'll talk about their certification. They'll talk about what allows them to be at the table and in that discussion. And this is typically relatively early in your career. It might even be up to about 10 years in your career or more, because those qualifications are how people will evaluate you. You might not yet have the distinction that enables you to say that there's something different beyond my qualification. Now, the second level is what I would say is they say that I'm qualified. Okay, so someone else says you're qualified. Now, what that means is you've got magazines who have written stories about you. Maybe you've been on television. Maybe you've been on radio. This is where you see people saying, I'm an award-winning this, that, or the other. It's been said, I won 40 under 40 somewhere, or I'm, most distinctive in this community, or, so forth. Essentially what you're doing there is borrowing the endorsement of someone else who has credibility in the market to say that they believe I'm credible, therefore I am credible. And this is something that is at the second layer of your bio and your experience. It essentially says that I'm not the only person saying this. My clients say this. People in the market say this. I've been recognized for this. There's a level of agreement that not only am I qualified, but I'm good at this in some way. Now, the third level is where we all aspire to, And that level is where the qualifications of others are measured against you. So what that means essentially is there's a level of renown, there's a level of notoriety, there's a level of agreement that you are not only someone who is qualified and that other people say you're qualified and that you've been recognized for that, but you make a contribution that few can say. You have contributed, you have changed, you have done something in your experience that few could say, and that you are relevant to the past, you are relevant to the present, and potentially to the future. This is where people start to talk about resume versus eulogy. And this is where you'll hear people say, well, this person is the Oprah Winfrey of this category. They'll start to use a name of someone of great renown, and they're measuring you against that. So this is where you're really making a distinction, and this is where we all want to be, and it takes time to get there. This doesn't happen in a few years or a few weeks or even a few months. This is a lifelong commitment, and there'll be different degrees of that level of contribution. But these three levels of your bio really help others understand where you stack up. The challenge is we're in this selfie era, this era where everyone can market themselves and everyone can say all kinds of things about themselves, and in fact, you can look pretty good. You can look like you're really capable. And there will be many people out there who can't make the distinction between one person and another. They'll be equals, because they're doing the same job, and it looks like they're doing the same job. But when it comes down to actually doing the work and really going deep and level of distinction and level of creativity and level of nuance and all that really comes at that third level. That really comes as you move through these levels, but in particular when you've reached that third level. So when you're working on your bio, think about where you are, and when you've done some things that you can add to help your clients and the market understand where you stand, add it and help people understand why it is that they should work with you, and what is it that's unique about you. But most importantly, work on that yourself. Work on the contribution that you can make to your industry, to your market. How can you shape the thinking? How can you shape the practices? How can you impact the success of what you do? And go beyond this idea of saying that you're amazing, saying that you are a mogul, saying that you're an entrepreneur, saying that you're America's this, that, or the other, but doing it through insight, great work, longevity, commitment, discipline, and obviously service to those in your market. If you like this tip, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you've liked it. Share it with someone in your network. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.